Hi, my name is James Dean Frederick Aleck. I grew up on a little reserve called Marble Canyon, which is between Cache Creek and Lillooet. I was mainly raised by my grandparents ever since I was a baby. And I've been here for about 4 years now and going to go on to my 5th next semester. And I'm majoring in theater and arts. When it comes to the issues that a lot of people face, like every race and culture, there's a whole bucket list that can be done, as well as just for students and everything. That's also quite a bit of a list. Some of the things I wouldn't mind discussing and being able to fix one day would be like the living conditions that Aboriginal people have to live with, from the poverty to the lack of renovations to updating the housing, the water issues. And then as for the other cultures and the other race of people, there's so much oppression. Throughout history, pretty much every single race has suffered one way or another. And I want to be able to help take that step forward to making sure that everyone can be seen as equal and as people one day, such as like the lack of the washrooms for the transgender and neutral people, to the lack of representation in certain fields of work for women and the oppression that they face. There's so many issues that can be touched on. And I hope to help take the step forward into solving those issues and create that world of equality. When it comes to the issue of sexualized violence and the mental scars that can leave, that's actually a very important issue. I feel like that has to be touched on. It's been an issue that's been ignored for many people for many years. Prime example would be back in residential school of the children that went through that same thing and how it scarred them to this day, the elders and the grown-ups that went through that. It's a poison that carries on from generation to generation. And I feel like the role of the Equity Committee should be able to be there for the people who have been victimized. There should be a whole bunch of actions to be done to prevent it, but sadly, not all can be stopped. So I feel like for the people that have suffered through that, the Equity Committee should have a role into making sure that those people are heard and be heard as people, not as victims. Because a lot of the issues that I see when it comes to that kind of scarring is that the people that have suffered through that sometimes feel less than human. They're afraid to speak out. They're afraid to open up about the issue, afraid of what will happen, afraid of being ridiculed. I feel like the role of the Equity Committee and a role that any place should take part in is making sure those people don't feel afraid and don't feel victimized. They need to be able to speak. They need to be able to tell these stories so that future problems like this can be prevented, but also to encourage everyone to be able to speak the truth and not be afraid. In the end, we're all people, and to be able to strip that away from someone is horrible. So I hope that in the future, we can start taking steps in order to make sure that people who have been victimized can one day walk proud again, and to be able to overcome it, and to be able to encourage and be there for the people who become victims in the future. And I hope that the scars and the damage that happened back in residential school never has to happen again. Well, I've been in this position for 2 years now, and I have taken part in a whole bunch of equity movements, taken part in the activities across campus, and I'm very proud of the work. And I want to be able to keep on taking that step forward like my grandpa, who has been chief for a little more than 4 years of his life. I want to be able to keep taking the steps into making things better for my people and for all people across Canada and even the world. I want to be able to help and reach out to everyone. And I guess I have the experience so far, and I'm willing to gain a lot more if reelected. And a vote for me would be greatly appreciated, as well as a vote for PSA.